can't really come to Marie's Crisis just one night and think, oh, now I've gone to Marie's Crisis. Each pianist does have their own repertoire and style and group of regulars and followers.
Are you sorry? Are you kidding? What's your statement?
It's a place where we all can just come and be the nerds that we are inside and nobody else really understands.
Understandable!
Marie's is the island of misfit toys for people who love show tunes.
It's a place where people can come and sing and have camaraderie and make everything go away and just have a happy, singing, gay old time.
Oh, yes, 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 yes,
The first time I came here, I sat against the wall by the piano and ordered a drink and thought I was in heaven. Honestly, I moved to New York 3 months later, and I spent more time here than I did in my own house. Marie's Crisis Cafe itself was opened in the early 20s. Prior to the building's existence, Thomas Paine died, and that's partially where Marie's Crisis gets its name from Thomas Paine's The Crisis Papers. We only do show tunes, so it's strictly musical theater, 24/7. The only rule is to have a good time and participate.
Some girls came in here about 4 years ago and said, oh, I know that song, it's from American Idol. Oh. And her friends said, no, it's from an old movie based on Wicked. I knew I was old.
The music has changed because the shows have changed. But the old tunes, they're the best. You know, some of these classics, you know, Oklahoma, you know, it's like, Lordy, I love it.
Marie's Crisis is a place to keep the Great American Songbook alive. But we try to keep the music alive that's going to be transcendent and last for decades, so that the next generation is going to know someone to watch over me.
You know, Broadway and show music has always been very important to me, but it's not as central in American culture as it used to be. People would go to the show and hear the songs, and then they would hear them on the radio and dance to them in the clubs, and then go home and play them on the piano.
Come on, babe, why don't we paint the town? And all that jazz.
The argument is that it was the rise of rock and roll in the 50s, when rock and roll became the popular music of America, as opposed to singers of standards like, you know, Sinatra and Doris Day, who would cover show tunes.
Well, nobody plays Sondheim on the radio anymore. It's, I think Send in the Clowns was the last Sondheim song that actually made it to the top 10, and even if it did.
Show tunes are very special in that they come out of a specific time, a specific character, specific place, so you never get tired of the emotion because it's new each time you sing it.
Come from
I came here in 1987. I was working as a court reporter. I used to sing in the courthouse hallways between sessions, and one of the lawyers said, I know the place you should go. I've been here for over 26 years, the longest of any piano player by over 10 years. There are no books like a day, and nothing looks like a day.
When you walk by, you can't really see what's going on in here, so it seems a little, I don't know, scary. But a friend told me to come in, and so I said I'd try it. I came at a happy hour, 5:30, 6 o'clock, and I finally realized what it was a sing-along piano bar, which is the only one we really have anymore, and it was only show tunes, so then I was like, oh, this is right up my alley.
Hey guys, what's up, Shalyn? After a couple of years of college, I decided I wanted to move to New York and study acting. People were telling me, you should go play in a piano bar, and I really panicked because I didn't have 4,000 musical theater tunes from memory. it. When the moon is in the 7th house and Jupiter aligns with Mars. Anybody? Side of the planet. Make up the words. And love will steer the solar system. I had a suitcase full of fake books and all this stuff, and I came with all that, and that's what I used for like the first few months that I played here.
I read, I use an iPad when I play, as opposed to some people who play from ear or play from memory. So because I know the canon, I can read most anything from musical theater. So I have 600 scores or something on my iPad that I can pull from at any time. I'm an audition pianist, so sometimes I have to sight read things that I've never heard of before. The craziest request, this person came up to me and said, "Can you play a Beyonce song?" And I said, "I don't know any Beyonce songs." And she handed me a $100 bill, and I said, "What Beyonce song would you like?" And so I played Single Ladies here one night.
It's interesting to see which of the new shows that come along really catch on at the bar. For instance, even though Bridges of Madison County didn't have a very long run on Broadway, it's very popular here at Marie's Crisis, and people will often ask to sing songs from it.
We play a lot of My Fair Lady. People love the Disney musicals, Lion King and Aladdin, and Seasons of Love can always get the crowd together.
Like the big popular shows here are like Sound of Music and Little Shop and Cabaret in Chicago. It's kind of hard to escape without singing those.
Suddenly Seymour. Suddenly Seymour.
The most difficult thing about the job is probably having to hear Suddenly Seymour 4 times a night. I think that's probably the most painful thing.
Suddenly Seymour. Suddenly Seymour. Yes, you can.
But everything else is golden, so I haven't gotten tired of anything yet. Even Do Re Mi, I still sing along.
It always depends on the crowd, what musicals people want here. The younger crowd tends to want the newer musicals. The people who know more musicals tend to prefer the old musicals.
When I became a pianist, I thought to myself, I'm going to learn the songs that I wish the pianist would play for me, but never did. One thing I do to prepare for a shift is I make sure I learned all the songs that I didn't know from the last shift. So if someone asked me for a song and I didn't know it, I always make sure I go home and learn it by the next shift.
I try to play 9 songs they know and 1 song they don't, so they can learn about the theater.
Although a lot of people come to Marie's wanting to sing, a lot of people are shy, so you have to coax them out of their shell. You have to ask them what their favorite musical is, what songs they know really well, what musicals they did in high school maybe.
You know, you're in the belly of the beast here. There's no mic, it's just you, you're in a cage, and people are screaming in your face, and there's something so fun and insane about it.
Hey, big spender!
You have to really kind of read the crowd and read it quickly so that you can keep people's interest up and keep the noise level down so that people will keep singing.
Hey, big spender!
Sometimes I'm a little mean with the crowd, just in a jokey way, because the meaner I am, the more they like me, which is why I often thought about the fact that I'm a piano bar dominatrix.
I've had people come in under the wood and sit on my lap. You have to concentrate, you have to be able to play while you're talking to somebody else and making eye contact with the customers, so it makes it personal for them.
I think it's probably the reason why musical theater works anyway, is, you know, it makes no sense, people just bursting out in a song for no reason in the middle of a show, but we love it anyway because we connect with it somehow just the, exuding pure emotion is what music does.
So here's a little song for you. And I put on some makeup, some leather naked. Oh, I'm pulling the wig down from the shelf.
Whenever whenever a new piano player comes on, shifting between happy hour and the evening shift, the bartender, who has been the happy hour bartender, will go onto the floor and will do a solo and pass around the piano player's tip bowl and, you know, get everyone excited about the rest of the night.
Thanks so much for playing along. It's my turn to drink and your turn to sing. You ready?
Yeah!
I put on some makeup. Very nice.
Turn up the 8-track.
Beautiful.
I'm pulling the wig down from the shelf.
My turn. Suddenly I'm this punk rock star on stage and screen, and I ain't never turning back. That's Jim and Al on the piano. Please be generous and have a great night. Thank you very much. Excuse me, Andrew.
It really is a bar like you see in the movies where people are regulars, people come, they make friends.
This is what I call the Fellini version of the Waltons. It is a place where you can go and feel at home and do the things you love that other people just don't understand. It's very clear,
Our love is here to stay.
not for a year,
but ever and a day.
the radio and the telephone and the movies that we know make us see passing fancies, and in time they go. But I get a lot of lawyers, I get psychiatrists, I get social workers. They are people who love musical theater and would like to do it for a living but just can't because they have to support a family or something like that.
Oh no, they can't take that away from me.
The way you smile just be.
I try to come once a week because it's like church for me. My family wasn't very religious, but my mom always took us to the church that had the best choir because we all love to sing. And so now you can come here and get all the awesome choral singing without all the Jesus stuff.
No, they can't take that away. No, they can't take that away. No, they can't take that away from me.
Good evening and welcome to Marie's, where showtunes come to die.
I've been coming to Marie's Crisis since really like 1980. It wasn't a very welcoming place for women back then. It was still pretty much known as a men's bar, and women weren't welcome. I remember when I first started coming in, it took a while, but eventually the regulars who were here, they began to accept me and like me, but the life has changed. If you come in on a Saturday night when it's just wall-to-wall people, and they're just all these people from everywhere. They're just singing to their heart's content. All these, it's really sweet and marvelous.
I love it here. Thanks. As a woman, there's not that many places it's comfortable to walk in alone. I remember thinking it wasn't just a matter of feeling accepted, but actually feeling invited.
Zoe Deschanel was in here, and somebody walks by and says, "Aren't you?" And she just says, "No, it's not me." He walked away, and she turned to me and just looked at me and goes,
It's really great to sing in a group. There's just an energy and a connectedness that you don't find anywhere else, or any way else.
It's not about aptitude, it's a way of view, so it's very true to me. Though you protest.
It's very important for all of us to have this in our lives. That's why we, whether or not at some point we were the kind of people who, might have been made fun of for loving musical theater, we sought each other out, found this place, and it's a home for us.
The Bronx is up and the battery's down. The people riding on the ground. New York, New York, it's Alabama.
Before coming here, I was always a bit of the odd one, even among friend circles, because I knew lyrics to like Zip from Pal Joey, and I would just break into it randomly. People found it really odd that that's what I would think of. And I found this community here that understood that, and that even though, I'm this random 23-year-old, I know these things, and they are proud of me for that, and they understand me in a way that I guess a lot of other people I've met outside do not.
If someone's having a bad day and they need to take 2 hours of their life to just calm down and just realize that life's okay, it takes you out of everything and it takes everything away and it takes you to this imaginary place where for a moment you can be anything you want to be through song. And that's why I love musical theater.
When all the world is a hopeless jumble and the raindrops tumble all around, heaven opens a magic lane. When all the clouds darken up your skyway, there's a rainbow highway to be found. Lean from your window pane to a place behind the sun, just a step beyond the rain.